Superchargers, it's your girl Shannon from Tesla and Chill, and today we're going to be doing another DIY project, but not for our Tesla. This is going to be for a Tesla Model S, and I'm super excited about this. We are going to Plasti dip these aero caps here. I think it should be a pretty easy process, so we're going to get started in just a few minutes. We ordered everything from dipyourcar.com. We've already read the directions, we watched the video. Again, it looks easy, but because it isn't our car, what I did was I went on eBay and I found a set of 4 aero caps for $100. So I figured it might as well just be good to have a backup on standby, just in case I mess up, but hopefully I won't. But come on in, take a look at all the things that are included when you order the kit. It looks a little bit overwhelming at first because there are so many bottles. But again, it seems pretty straightforward. Now this actually wasn't included in the standard kit. This is something that's added extra. It's just like to help, I don't know, make the coat go on like smoother. I think that's what I'm hoping for. Instead of having to like hold down a button like when you normally would spray paint. You know what I mean? Like, and then sometimes your finger gets in there, it gets really gunky. But first things first, we just have to clean the aero caps, which is what this is for. This is like a pre-dip spray. You want to make sure your wheels or your aero caps, whatever you're going to be covering, is going to be fully cleaned. You don't want any like imperfections before you even get started. And also included is this plastic bag here. Now this is actually a plastic mask. So what you would normally do if you were going to do your wheels or whatever, you would have them on your car, you would just kind of thread this through and it would cover up like the brakes and the calipers. That way it doesn't get covered. Also included is this dip release. So this is going to help things not stick. If you had like tires on your car, of course, you want to cover the sidewall of your tire. That way like any overspray will easily come off. And then you have the most important part, the actual dip yourself. Now there are 5 bottles here and we got this in the brilliant finish. You can kind of see here, it looks like a black satin finish. And I'm hoping when it comes out, it'll look just like this. It'll have that deep dark black, but again, like really smooth finish. So that is all that's included. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna clean these. Now normally I would wanna do this in like the sunlight or outside. Well, maybe with the garage up because you don't want, you know, dirt and stuff blowing in there. But it's so cold outside, we're doing everything in here and then we're gonna let it just dry inside our house. That way it's gonna be a nice even temperature. Okay, let's start by cleaning the wheels. All right, you guys, as you can see, we just finished cleaning all the aero caps. They are prepped and ready to go. We have our little spray gun thing on our Hyper Dip can. And Hyper Dip is a little bit different than other Plasti dips. So this one just sprays on a little bit differently. We're gonna do 2 light coats at 50% coverage on each aero cap. And then we're gonna come back in and we're gonna do slightly heavier coats. So hopefully this is gonna be pretty easy to do. You do it about 4 to 6 inches away from the aero cap or whatever you're spraying. But let's go ahead, let's get started here. I'm really excited. All right, here we go. A little tester. It's so fine, look at that. Okay, I think that's a pretty good coat for now. We're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna finish doing the other 3. We're gonna give them all a good 10 minutes to dry before we come back and we do the second coat. been 10 minutes, so we're gonna do our second coat now. Again, this is gonna be another light coat, and I'm gonna try a different technique because you can see on my first coat, some areas are a little bit heavier than others. So I'm gonna try to mix it up to keep it a little bit more even. You always wanna shake the can, it says constantly, so I already did some shaking. So let's start our second coat, and then we're gonna wait another 10 minutes. We just gave these air caps another 10 minutes to dry, and you guys, it smells really potent in here, so if you do this at home, make sure you have some good ventilation, maybe a mask or something. But we're gonna get started. We're gonna do our heavier coats now. Now these coats are gonna be like overlapping, a little bit wetter, so they're gonna take a little bit longer to dry. They recommend about like 20 minutes or so per coat. And I think the recommended amount is like 6 to 8 coats. To get this done. It's hard to tell because sometimes, people apply coats differently and sometimes wheels are different sizes. So we're gonna apply coats until we like the finish. So let's go ahead and get started. Guys, we finished spray painting the aero caps and we've put them back on the car, and you guys, I am so happy with how these came out. These look phenomenal. In total, we did 5 coats of the Hydro Dip. Again, we got it from dipyourcars.com. It was our first time doing it, and I'm super pleased with the results. Now, I was really nervous when we were doing this because I wasn't sure how even my coats were gonna be, and it was actually really hard to get in these little like curvy angle spots. But once you start building up the coats, it becomes a little bit easier to do. Now, because this is real life, and you guys, this could be completely user error on my part, we did have a little bit of peeling in just this one section right here. You can see it just started to peel up just a tiny bit. Now, what we did, we just simply took a heat gun, we held it on there for just a second, and we were able to like smush it back down. So hopefully it'll stay on for a really long time. But you guys, you have to see the car in total because it looks so good. It changes the look completely. Check it out, you guys. I am so obsessed with this. I think it looks so good. Definitely a big change from the silver and gray that it was before. I think this is something we might be doing on like every car we have in the future. I don't know yet. We have to see how good it stays on. But I think this looks so good. I'm so happy with this. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever done a Plasti dip or Hydro dip? I'd love to know what color you did it and how long it stayed on. But that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.